There are times I will be in the school and the menstruation will just come unaware. Most of the times, I will not like to sit again. I'll just be standing up. I'll just have to turn my skirt to the front and I'll just be standing up throughout the day.
I have to make sure that when I stand up and sit down, I'll use style and move back a bit and lean on the wall to check before going anywhere. I have to be sure that I'm not staying at all because it would be such an embarrassment.
I've always felt that maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe there's something wrong with my womb or my system.
3 voices out of the thousands of adolescent girls that encounter menstrual periods every month. Menstruation, which is a normal biological process that occurs in adolescent girls, often signals a healthy reproductive system. But unfortunately, in many parts of the world, this period is often associated with shame, fear, misery, and stigma. The limited knowledge of girls concerning menstrual hygiene management results in negative consequences like loss of dignity, social and educational constraints, potential reproductive health risks, amongst others.
To some of them is a period of sickness, a period of mood swing. You see them, they will be unhappy. And as a result of that, they will be inefficient in their classes and even their normal day programs.
In trying to break gender norms, we engaged men to facilitate sessions on menstrual hygiene.
One of the myths and wrong notion of menstrual hygiene management that these girls have is that if you have menstrual pain, you have sexual intercourse, it will go.
Some of them have really had some bad experiences because of the orientation they had, that if you are still a virgin, you feel pains while menstruating. So some have fallen victim of, some bitter experiences.
Inadequate and in some cases, non-existent water and sanitation facilities in schools makes it difficult for girls to manage menstrual periods. These include non-availability of clean and safe menstrual absorbents such as sanitary pads, non-availability of clean gender-sensitive toilets, soap and water for proper hand washing and cleanup, and non-availability of proper drainage and waste disposal facilities.
I was having my period on a particular day and I got stained, so I have to change my pad. I went to the school toilet, but the toilet was very, very dirty. They messed the toilet up and I have to go to the class to change it. We told the boys in the class to go out, but they couldn't understand what we were saying and they said they are not going to go because boys are actually stubborn. So my friends have to cover me at the back of the class, behind the class, so I have to change my pad there.
It's very hard for us to cope. For example, people that have heavy flow, when they are sure that their pad is being filled up, they have to go home because they know they cannot stay in class because they'll be feeling uncomfortable.
Most of the times I'll come to school and the menstruation will just catch me unaware. It will have to be my classmate or seatmate to tell me that, look Sonia, you are staying. So that makes me to lose my confidence and also my self-esteem.
Adolescent girls remain the most educationally marginalized groups in Nigeria. Lack of proper menstrual hygiene management is one of the leading causes of absenteeism or complete dropout among school-age girls.
One of the reasons why their attendance in school drops is because at that time of the month, when it's their menstrual cycle, they don't have sanitary towels. They use rags that they have to wash, they have to sun dry. It's a very low period for them. They are ashamed to go to school because they get stained. The boys make fun of them. They have to walk far, with sometimes the period dropping.
When they stay away from school, they miss their academic work, miss their tests, and it affects them academically, socially, and otherwise. So the ignorance of menstrual health hygiene is a big problem.
In order to ensure that girls' knowledge and practice around reproductive hygiene through menstrual health management is enhanced, Always Keeping Girls in School AKGIS project sponsored by Procter & Gamble PNG, was implemented by Mercy Corps Nigeria in collaboration with Tabitha Kumi Foundation. Through the Educating Nigerian Girls in New Enterprises Engine 2 program across 29 schools in 2 area councils, Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC, and Buari of the Federal Capital Territory.
The kind of interventions that Always Keeping Girls in School provides to girls includes life skills training on menstrual hygiene management. This is done through guidance counselors who have been trained to provide life skills training and menstrual hygiene management skills training to girls on a weekly basis or during their girls' fora meetings. Girls' fora is the same as their girls' club meetings. So at these meetings, the guidance counselors provide trainings to girls, tell them about their menstrual cycle, all they need to know, all they need to do in terms of hygienic practices, in terms of disposal, and just staying safe and participating and living a normal life during their menstruation. We also have girl leaders who have been trained in all the schools for peer-to-peer mentoring. Then also these guidance counselors provide sensitization with our support to parents during parent-teachers associations meetings and school-based management committee meetings to sensitize them on the need to provide the correct information to girls at home.
Yes, Mara.
By conducting MHM training for guidance counselors, learning center facilitators and teachers, they are better equipped to provide the support needed for girls by creating awareness on menstruation, menstrual hygiene management, and addressing the myth surrounding menstruation. And in trying to break gender norms, men were engaged to facilitate sessions on menstrual hygiene. Mercy Corps also developed handbooks, flashcards, and leaflets on MHM to act as supportive teaching aids. 145 girl leaders selected from schools were also trained to conduct peer-to-peer mentoring on MHM.
Always Keeping Girls in School, that is ages, has really helped me a lot to gain knowledge even about the anatomy of the girl child, how it functions, and how they can be assisted. When they are going through their monthly period before, you will have about 30 to 45% of them not in school, but now it's not the case.
You hardly see a student that is menstruating now that, that lies down in the classroom or doesn't attend lessons.
Now they are bold, they are very confident. They come freely to discuss about their menstrual health issue with us. So it has really helped.
One thing I discovered about this impact of Always Keeping Girls in School, I discovered that the knowledge is not just limited to the girls, the engine girls alone. They step it down to other girls.
This black color here is your menstrual cramps.
I felt the menstrual cramp is due to infection. I felt the menstrual cramp is due to maybe one problem in my system. But the program has really taught me a lot. That is something normal and something that must happen. And again, I've learned more how to calculate my menstrual cycle. And again, how to be healthy during menstruation.
We now know that menstruation is not a taboo. So it has really built our self-esteem. It has given us this self-confidence that once you are menstruating, it does not mean that I am different from other people.
The more they impact on us, the more we impact on others. So as they tell us, if we see others doing the wrong thing, we will stay and correct them and even teach us more of the things that they don't know. We teach them about their self, their changes in their body, how to take care of themselves during menstruations.
So far, over 9,240 packs of sanitary pads and 2019 boxes with locks have been installed in the schools and made available to girls. These are being managed by the guidance and counseling teachers.
Through the support of Procter & Gamble, we have been able to install emergency sanitary pads in schools. Now, this talks about girls having access to clean sanitary materials. Girls have access to sanitary pads while in school. So if your period starts in school, you're covered. Procter & Gamble have provided sanitary pads to ensure that you don't have to go home. You just need to go clean up and you change and you continue with your school activities.
In order to ensure that boys are aware and educated about how menstruation affects their female colleagues, The Always Keeping Girls in School project builds the capacity of boys as well through gender assemblies and in regular classroom settings. This helped to carry them along and create a support system for the girls where necessary.
We had a teacher who told us about a boy who saw a girl who was staying in class and would have laughed ordinarily. But he actually removed his cardigan and gave her to wrap herself and go to the toilet and just change. So this was some form of behavior change to show that now the boys and other stakeholders at school level are beginning to understand that menstruation is a normal biological process. We have principals who, after the trainings we had with them and sensitization, who went back to their schools, looked at the sex and age aggregated data of their students. And upon realization that they had more female students than male students, they reassigned the toilets in the schools and separated them. So now this was a very good move for us.
You know, government can't do everything. And the resources are so much now in our country. So we are grateful to partners that come up with one program or the other. And I'm happy to say too that we have other 2 or 3 partners that actually want to come into keeping girls in school, giving them menstrual pads and then lecturing them. We are very happy that we have people coming to help us, and whatever we as government can support, we are always willing to do that.
Partnering with Always Keeping Girls in School is like, a ray of hope for girls that would normally miss school. If there's something that will keep them in school, then we can retain them in school and they can move to higher levels of education if they're able to attend school. There are other people that produce this kind of sanitary materials and they can support too. There's so much to be done, you know, if we all just take our area of one area of concentration, you know, and face it, like what we've seen now in these 2 area councils, it can be scaled up to other area councils too. It doesn't have to be all the schools at first, but at least we can start, you know, somewhere.
The stories of girls like Grace, Sonia, Rukaya and Miriam gives the AKGIS program a happy ending. But there are still thousands of girls whose stories may never change without interventions like this. On the part of the government, a clear policy direction on menstrual hygiene management is required from the Federal Ministry of Education, alongside coordinating ministries like Health, Environment, Women Affairs, and Water Resources.
It is my wish that every child, every girl child, will stay in school. For every child that has the opportunity to start school, nothing whatsoever should keep that child out of school, particularly for the girls. And we know that menstruation is a big thing because they need somewhere to change. You need water. And these are all facilities that government is supposed to put in place. So we will do that which you can to ensure that our girls remain in school. We are talking about the future mothers of this country. So for me, that's very key.
There is a need for MHM to be integrated into many subjects at different levels of basic education, particularly to prepare children from Basic 4 till JSS 3. The teaching and learning aids to facilitate discussion on MHM should be improved with more visuals and audio materials, social and health messages in both traditional and social media. The Always Keeping Girls in School project is also working to ensure that wash facilities in the schools are renovated and maintained. So far, toilets have been renovated in 8 schools. This will enable sustainability of the project even after closeout.
I would like the government to take up menstrual hygiene management as a very key factor in the education system of Nigeria. I'd like to see where government budgets for schools prioritize the state of wash facilities. So if there's a new school to be built, the capacity of the school for students and teachers should be commensurate to the number of toilets provided in schools, separated for boys and girls, to ensure that girls have a supportive system when they are menstruating. They have access to these facilities to change, to clean up, and then participate in their school activities as it should be.
I'd like to say a very big thank you to AKGS, which is always keeping girls in school, and they actually did their work, and their main aim was to keep girls in school, and they kept girls in school.
It might just seem like a small token. It's a very, very big thing to us, because living with this and adjusting to it just has to be a win-win. There's no going back. We are girls, we are going to face it, and by God's grace, we'll all do well without any mistakes or any of that. So thank you very much to the organizers of this program and everything, for the provision of the free pads, for the tutoring, for enabling our teachers, the textbooks, the pamphlets they have given us, for making us as children happy. Thank you very much.